Hello and welcome back to Cotton Innovations Limited. At Cotton Innovations Limited we love to help share tools and techniques with our clients and with the wider community to look at how you can create change within your environment. And one of the tools that we are looking at is the fishbone diagram and the power of that fishbone diagram. Previous video we talked about how to create that fishbone diagram. There are 6 elements that drive a fishbone diagram. Those 6 elements being 3 that you can easily control: people, methods and measures. I say they're easy to control because you define the ways of working, you define how we set up those machines, you define what we do and how we do stuff. That's all within your world by training and by example. Then we have 3 constraints, which are machine, materials and environment. Machine can be the big greasy machines that we use in a process. They can be the computers, they can be the servers, they can be the technologies that we use. The materials, again, we're constrained by these because they have to come from particular suppliers, they have to come from certain specs, and then we have the environment, and we can't change the environment. If it's humid in the morning and the humidity disappears in the afternoon, if it's cold in the morning, it's hot in the afternoon, if your process is driven by temperature, it's driven by these sorts of environments, there's nothing you can do with that. Equally, if we are working in one location but we're manufacturing or we're processing in another location and this environment and that environment are different, there's nothing we can do about that. So these things are constraints. We have to work with them. We can't always change them. So there's 3 I can easier change, there's 3 I have to understand what those constraints are. Now when we're looking to create a process change, when we're trying to understand why we have a problem, why we're trying to understand how that process works, fishbone diagram is really powerful because there are 3 laws that have to be in place to understand change. Now what do we mean by those 3 laws? So at Cotton Innovations we call the first one, a process is incapable of changing. What do I mean by that? Well, we have a new central heating boiler put into our house. The controller in that central heating boiler is defunct. It doesn't work. Because it doesn't work, the house is always cold. Now that house will never heat up until we do something different. We either have to put a bias onto that controller in terms of set it up to be hotter than it should be, or we have to change the controller altogether. So this process will not change unless we change one of the arms on this fishbone diagram. The second factor you need to understand is when you're looking at a change, there are 2 principal elements that will create change or resist change in that process. The first one is culture. What do we mean by culture? The current status quo. How strong is that culture? How big is that culture? And then equally the desire to change. How well have we sold that desire? Because those 2 will be held in tension as to how a process changes. We did a module on Kotter's 8 steps, on Tuckman, on Elliot-Kemp and stakeholder management. Have a look at those modules because they'll give you some understanding of how to sell the change, understand the culture, understand what's driving your process. And then finally the last one, the last change is all driven by a process will have a reaction, and the direction of change is a function of how we move that process forward. So these 3 laws are defined within this fishbone diagram, and I need to understand which one is driving what. Now I'll be able to start moving my process, understanding what the key drivers are. So reach out to us at Cotton Innovations Limited, details are at the bottom of the screen. You're looking to improve your process, you're looking to address a particular problem within your process. Fishbone diagram is really, really powerful. These 3 laws will help you understand what it is we're trying to drive for, what it is we're trying to understand, and then we'll be able to help you move your process forward. We look forward to having contact with you, and we look forward to the opportunity of helping you design, redesign, or just improve your processes. Thank you so much again for watching our video, and we look forward to contacting you soon. Goodbye now.